My ex-girlfriend came 2.5 weeks later after breaking up with me, saying she is pregnant with my baby. She told my family, and now everyone is pressuring me to marry her. But that ain't happening. Amber, 40F, and I, 40M, were together for almost 2 years. She broke up with me about 2.5 weeks ago, saying she hated me and never wanted to see me again. Fair enough, I respected that and didn't contact her. Then, one night, she drunk texted me a bunch of messages about how I wasted her time and suggested that we try again or something. I ignored it because, clearly, she wasn't in her right mind. It felt like the best thing to do at the time. Fast forward to recently, and Amber suddenly tells me she's pregnant. I was obviously shocked. The timing felt weird, and I wasn't sure how to process it. So, I asked the question anyone would, are you sure it's mine? Big mistake. She absolutely lost it, accusing me of calling her a cheater and saying I was a terrible person. She hasn't even seen a doctor yet. I asked if I could go with her to confirm the pregnancy, but she's already told my entire family that I abandoned her and the baby. Now, my Christian mom, siblings, and even my cousins are blowing up my phone, telling me I need to step up and propose to her. My mom is particularly pissed because Amber called her crying, saying I broke up with her after finding out about the baby and that she's scared and alone. My mom's response: she's carrying your child. Stop making excuses and marry her. Relevant comment: so your Christian family doesn't even ask you for your side of the story? OP, you didn't grow up with a religious mom, did you? Update 1, today at work, Amber called me 3 times in the span of a couple of hours. I finally answered, and she suggested we have a small wedding this weekend with my family. She said it would fix things, and that it was the right thing to do for the baby. I snapped. I told her I'm not marrying anyone just because of a baby, especially when I'm not even sure it's mine. She called me an asshole and hung up. Then, she called my mom again. Now, my whole family is furious with me, calling me selfish and irresponsible. It gets worse. Amber somehow found out about Stephanie, 31F, my FWB who works in marketing, and decided to go full crazy. She looked Stephanie up on LinkedIn, found her company, and sent a mass email to all her coworkers. The email said that Amber and I are engaged, have a baby on the way, and that Stephanie needed to leave our family alone. Stephanie was mortified. She called me crying, thinking she was going to get fired. Thankfully, her company didn't fire her, but she's super embarrassed and angry. At this point, I realized I needed to meet Amber face to face to figure out what the hell was going on. Update 2, I decided to meet Amber in person to get to the bottom of this mess. I thought if I stayed calm, I could figure out the truth. Spoiler, it didn't go as planned. We met, and the tension was immediate. I started by asking how far along she was, hoping for something concrete. Her answer: I don't know exactly. I pushed a bit, saying we could go to a doctor together to confirm the pregnancy and get an estimated due date. That's when she said, the doctor won't see me until I'm at least 3 months along. Which, let's be honest, doesn't sound right. I pointed that out, and she got defensive, saying it doesn't matter and accusing me of being emotionally unavailable. Then things took a wild turn. She started ranting about how I've ruined everything, and out of nowhere, she mentioned a guy named Josh. I was like, who's Josh? She broke down crying, then admitted she'd been having an on and off affair with her coworker Josh since Christmas. Apparently, she broke up with me hoping Josh would want to be with her, but, shocker, Josh only wanted a hookup. When he rejected her, she panicked and decided to get me back by making up the pregnancy story. I stared at her, completely stunned. I asked, so, you're not pregnant? Her response: she screamed, no, I'm not. But didn't you hear me? I still love you. I was done. I told her we were finished for good and walked out. Update 3, after the confrontation, I called my mom and explained everything. At first, she didn't believe me. Amber had already played the victim card so well that my mom thought I was lying to cover for myself. I told her I could prove it because Amber admitted it in front of me. Eventually, my mom calmed down and said she'd talk to Amber herself. Amber must have realized the jig was up because she stopped contacting me. However, she didn't stop trying to turn my family against me. My siblings told me she's still spinning the narrative that I abandoned her, conveniently leaving out the fake pregnancy and Josh. On the bright side, Stephanie and I have been talking a lot more. I apologized for what Amber put her through, and she was surprisingly understanding. We've decided to see where things go, not just as FWB but as something more.